What's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know so. And today we're going to be talking about the Minnesota Vikings. We're going to take a look into the 2019 season and are they better than a 500 team? Is Kirk Cousins just a 500 quarterback? Can he take you to the playoffs? Let's discuss. Anyway, let's go take a look at this offense. I think Kirk Cousins, with now second year, will get a lot better. He's going to be more comfortable. They have a fully healthy Dalvin Cook in the backfield. They drafted Addison Alexander to help kind of be the Latavius Murray over there. So the backfield looks great. Adam Thielen and Stephon Diggs, one of the best wide receiver duos in the league. Not much behind him, unfortunately. That's why I'm listing two tight ends instead of a slot. As much as I loved Laquan Treadwell, he just hasn't panned out as a first after being selected in the first round. It's a shame. But they re-signed Kyle Rudolph to a big deal. I think they're going to use Irvin Smith Jr. Kind of all over the offense, whether it's outside at slot or on the line there in two tight end sets. So that's going to be fun. Cousins got playmakers. Now, is this offensive line any better? I think it is. And it starts with Garrett Bradbury. They drafted this guy. He's going to be a very good center in this league. Pat Elflein, he had a rough year last year at center. He moves to guard. And I think it's a good move for him. Josh Klein's a very reliable guard in this league. Brian O'Neill played pretty good last year. I look for him to improve. My only question is Riley Reef. Is he going to be any good this year? He was kind of a liability. They overpaid him. At least that's my opinion. I think they should still be looking for a tackle. There's not much depth behind any of these guys, unfortunately. But I do think the offensive line has improved with a few pickups. I think this offense will play very well. They played very well at the beginning of last year. Actually, through the first half of last year. So, what about that defense then? Well, the defense, it took a few hits, all right? It took a few hits. Let's start with Sheldon Richardson. To be fair, Sheldon Richardson didn't really play. I don't think he played a majority of the season because he was kind of banged up. But if Everson Griffin, if he can come back, hopefully everything with the issues he was dealing with are all covered and whatnot, and he can come back and he can play at a high level once again. But in his stead, actually, for quite a while now, Danielle Hunter has been playing extremely well. He's very underrated. And then you got Joseph, who's just a monster. Steven Shimmer will come in and fill that role there. Sheldon Brown, that hole that Sheldon Richardson left. But you do have some depth there with Stephen Weatherly, and they drafted Armon Watts there on the interior. I like Armon Watts a lot. So I could see him get into the shuffle here. They brought back Anthony Barr, which I think was a good move because he fits really well for for their system and what they ask him to do. Eric Hendricks is an above average linebacker. He played pretty well last year as well as the last few years. And then you also got Ben Guidon, I think that's how you pronounce it, but I'm terrible with names. I'm just gonna say that now. If you didn't already know, but he played pretty well last year. So the front seven looks really good. It's just questions about the secondary. What I don't question is Harrison Smith and Xavier Rhodes. They're phenomenal. It's just the talent around him. Anthony Harris was pretty reliable last year, so I think they're set there at the other safety position. I'd like to see Mike Hughes probably overtake Trey Waynes at that corner 2 spot. Trey Waynes has kind of been a liability past few seasons. And that would put him at the 4th corner because they've the last few years they've been using Mackenzie Alexander, cat they got out of Clemson. They've been using him as a nickel corner, and I think ideally it would be Xavier Woods, Mike Hughes, Mackenzie Alexander. Trey Waynes, sorry, you're the odd man out. You just need to play better, my dude. But right now, I'll have him there at the number 2 because Mike Hughes was a little banged up last year, so I want to first get some. I want to get a little bit of a sample size before I jump to conclusions here. But honestly, the defense looks actually really good. For the most part, they're bringing back the same guys from last year, but this defense played pretty decent last year. Let's go ahead and take a look at the schedule. Rough schedule. I mean, on top of having to play the Bears and the Packers 4 times a year, or twice a year, 4 times total, that's tough. But then you got tough games against Dallas, Seattle, the Chargers, and the Chiefs, and all those are away games. Those are going to be very tough, but I think this team's good enough to win those games. Fortunately, the home schedule is a lot easier because I mean you're gonna have the Broncos, you got the Raiders, which I mean, like I said, I don't really know what to expect from the Raiders this year. But Redskins, you got Detroit, but I mean tough games against probably the Eagles and the Falcons, but those are winnable games. I think this team's gonna play very well. You could honestly say, oh, this team's 8-8 because Kirk Cousins, he's a 500 type quarterback, but I think I have them projected going 10-6 and making the playoffs. So I'm expecting a lot of good things out of Minnesota this year. So hopefully we get to see that. I want to see Kirk Cousins succeed. I really like Kirk Cousins. But that's it for the video. Yeah, do the YouTube thing. It's always much appreciated. But yeah, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.